So we're in Cheltenham today and we're looking at the driving test route. On the routes we're going to encounter a lot of meeting situations, roundabouts, lane choices and traffic lights. And towards the end, just before we get back to the test centre, the roads are actually closed, so we have to follow diversion signs. So there's roadworks going on. So if you're on your driving test and you're getting back to the driving test centre and something changes like it did for this drive today, then you will have to follow those diversion signs to get back to the driving test centre. So if it does take you a couple of minutes over the allocated 40 minutes, you've still got to complete that driving test, and the driving test is not over until you actually get back to the driving test centre, switch the engine off, and everything's all secure, and the examiner says that's the end of the test. So watch to the end, and hopefully following road signs right at the very end will give you a bit of better understanding on what is needed for your driving test. So the driving test centre is just on my right hand side, and as you can see, before you even start the driving test, you're dealing with a lot of parked cars, you're dealing with oncoming traffic coming behind you. Make sure that when you move away, you're having a good look all around the car. Something coming from the rear now, so while you're waiting for it, have another little look. Final check over your right shoulder. If there's vehicles waiting in that junction, I definitely wouldn't put an indicator on to pull out, because there's nothing there. I don't really need it. But if there's something coming towards me, or I was going to potentially pull out in front of the vehicle which is just coming behind me, I would use an indicator. You're dealing with meeting traffic situations straight away. Now, meeting situations do tend to scare a lot of learner drivers. They think, this is my priority, there's nothing blocking me. But if there's already something in that space, you have to give priority. So make sure that it's always safe to proceed. Make sure that you can fit yourself into the space. If it's going to be tight, you're better off just waiting just a little bit longer and making sure that there's no traffic in the middle of those spaces. So we've got a roundabout coming up, and we are going to be turning right. So I'm going to check my mirrors early. I'm going to signal. And I can see this catching learner drivers out because there's a turn in here as well. Make sure you're checking in there before you actually come out into the roundabout. Don't just assume that it's straight ahead you've got to look for there. And pedestrian crossing straight away. Lights are changing. Checking both sides of the car. Make sure that there's no cyclists or anything coming up the side of me. Again, I can see another meeting situation coming up because of all the parked cars on the right hand side. So I'm looking as far ahead as possible. Am I going to be able to fit in that space with the lorry? It's going to be a little bit tight, so I'm just gently braking. Just giving the lorry time to come out. He said, thank you for waiting. But I know I can fit in there with these other cars. Got some traffic lights coming up, and my sat nav is saying straight ahead. So I'm checking all three mirrors just because I can. And just a gentle brake. Clutch goes down, first gear ready, just in case the lights do change back. Check your exit roads. Make sure that you know if there's any restrictions or any speed changes, anything at all which could cause you an issue. And because it's quite blind to my left, I'm not going to rush out of the traffic lights, and I'm also going to look right and left before I actually emerge too far, just in case there's any emergency vehicles coming through. So another meeting situation, so mirrors, gentle brake. It's clear so I can go in. We're on College Road. And this is the first time I've driven through Cheltenham. So if there's any junctions or anything where you're a bit concerned about while you're learning to drive, just drop it in the comments for me. And if I come back into the area, I'll have a look at those junctions for you. So at the end of the road, I'm going to be turning right. So I'm going to start to get my mirrors in early. I'm checking all 3 mirrors again. I'm just making sure that I know what's around me. Then I double check my rear and right before I put my signal on. Vehicles have actually stopped on the main road. There's a lot of traffic and there's pedestrian crossing. I'm just going to creep forward just a little bit more when this Tesla comes through. And I may as well wait for the Golf now. So there's still people crossing the road. Just going to creep forward now, hoping that somebody is going to let me out. So a very nice gentleman in a Porsche. Thank you very much. Then at the next set of traffic lights, I'm going to be turning left. I will be able to get through the keep clear box. I'll put my signal on. And I can see on where I'm going to be turning left. The vehicles coming from the left, there's 2 lanes there, so I'm going to be a little bit concerned that the vehicles which want to turn right, they might be very, very close to the hazard line and it might be restricting my path before I turn or as I turn. So always make sure that you know what's happening. I'm just going to wait patiently for the traffic lights. So that's the only thing I can see which may cause me a problem when I turn. It's just vehicles very, very close to that hazard line in the middle of the road. So lovely day today up in Cheltenham. As I said, it's the first time I've driven here. And if there is anything which you are concerned about while you're learning to drive or just preparing for your driving test, drop it in the comments, let all the community know what your concerns are in the area and we can all learn from it. And then if I do come back into the area, then I will cover those junctions, those concerns. So checking both mirrors again before I move away. Still got the Porsche behind me. As you can see, these vehicles do get close to the hazard line when they're actually coming down that road. More traffic lights coming up. I'm going to be turning right, so mirrors. I can hear sirens, I can't see them. Signals. Now the sirens have gone off. So waiting on these traffic lights now. I'm turning right and I can see that we're going towards a primary route, which is a green sign. And we've also got a train station. So I'm going to expect a lot of traffic, potentially a lot of pedestrians, and maybe a lot of taxis. Anything, just tell yourself what you may see when you actually turn into these roads. And if it is there, then you plan for it. If it's not there, then you haven't lost anything. So yellow box junction as well, so I'm going to creep forward. The exit road is clear, so I'm going to go into the yellow box. I'm going to give a slight tweak on the wheel. And I've just got to wait for oncoming vehicles, keep checking the traffic lights. If the lights do change to red, you do need to clear the box. You can't just sit in the middle. You've got to clear that junction. So we're on Suffolk Road now. We've got an Amazon driver parked on the pavement. So we're just going to check the mirrors to come out and mirrors to come back in. Check the mirrors before you need to come back in, just in case there is something there. You don't want to check as you come back in and then find out that something's crept up the side of you. And we're going to be following this road now for a mile. So just checking all around the car again, all 3 mirrors. I now got a sign here for the University of Gloucestershire Park Campus. So at the moment, I'm assuming the university, although it's people could still be staying there, the university is actually closed for summer holidays because we're July now going into August. Pedestrian crossing, somebody going across on a bike, checking all 3 mirrors again, making sure that I know what's around. Flashing amber light means that you can proceed as long as there's nobody on the crossing. I've got a warning for a cycle route coming up, so I'm checking my mirrors to come around the parked cars. I'm not going to pull back in because I can fit in the space, but I come in after the last car. And then I'm just going to the left here, so checking to my right. Petrol station right in the middle of the road there. Interesting. Never seen one right in the middle of the road before. So it's actually built in like a roundabout. Okay, so half a mile ahead now, I'm going to be turning right into Gloucester Road. So checking around. I'm not going to change lanes yet. Because if I change lanes now, that's going to force me to turn right. I don't want to turn right yet, it's half a mile away. Lights have changed back to green, so as long as it's safe to proceed. And I'm just checking to my left and my right at the same time as I'm coming through. So, default position. Now I can see that the lane is saying left turn only, so I do need to get back into the right lane because I'm going to be turning right. So mirrors, vehicle come in. As it goes past, blind spot check, mirror check, blind spot. So the vehicle just which went past, I was doing about 30, 32 in a 40 zone. So probably just a little bit impatient. Would you be marked on a driving test for that? I'd say no at the moment because I was actually building my speed. I wasn't racing towards it or holding anyone up. I've already crossed the stop line, so I need to go. Then we're going to be turning left. Tricky little junction there. Just check my left, make sure nobody's coming out. We're in Church Road, hence the big church. And this road here, I'm going to say they may pull you up on the left, so I'm going to pull up on the left. Whenever you stop, make sure that you're not blocking anything. Handbrake, neutral. When you move away again, good observations, because we've got driveways now, make sure that you're checking both blind spots and then you give that final check before you move away. Might they ask you to do parallel park on this road? Possible. There are opportunities to do it. We're going left at the end of the road. And this is going to be Libertas Road. So just checking. My curbs are a little bit high, so I'm just going to take my time as I come out. This vehicle's waiting for me. Because I'm just doing a bit of movement to make sure I can get over these speed humps safe, I'm actually checking my left and my right mirror, whichever way I need to move the car. Again, would they pull you over on the left-hand side here? Possibly. Also, would they pull you up on the right? Which is highly possible as well. Not in the bends, they're not going to ask you to do it in the bends. But definitely here. So I'm just going to pull up on the right. And I'm going to pull up just by this blue car. So yes, I am blocking a driveway, but when these cars move, I will move forward a little bit. I'm checking, making sure, and just moving away from the driveway. So whenever they pull up on the right, the chances are they're going to ask you to reverse back 2 car lengths. So you're going to reverse back 2 car lengths. Lorry coming up behind, there's blue car coming up behind, nothing in front at the moment. Cyclist just gone past and cyclist walking towards me. Keep the car nice and straight. Keep checking around. Van coming towards me, so I'm just going to slow it down. They'll go round. I'm going to go back a little bit further. And then I got the truck coming towards me, so I'm going to stop, and that's roughly 2 car lengths. So now I'm going to move away again. So whenever you move away from the side of the road on the right, make sure you check all around the car, double check to the right, and another final check just to make sure it's safe. As you move into the road, check behind just in case you miss something and it's coming up a bit quick behind you. We're going to turn right at the mini roundabout, some mirrors and signals. Mirrors, signals to come off. This is also another good road just to pull up on the left or the right. So this is Brooklyn Road. If there's the occasional parked car on the left, would they ask you to do parallel park? I think they would on this road. Nice long straight road. And this would actually be a good one for a parallel park now if there are vehicles on the left, because it takes a lot of control when you're reversing uphill. So mirrors to come out, mirrors to come back in. I'm going to do gentle brake just to give this car time to come through. I'm just going to build my speed back up. So because we're in Cheltenham today, default speed limit is 30 mile an hour in residential areas, unless there's road signs and road markings to say otherwise. Going straight ahead, this is one of the #1 driving test fails, and I'll put a link up above, and it's for not recognising a crossroads. and just driving straight through with no observations whatsoever. So I'll put that link up above, so if you want to watch that video to see what the #1 fail is on the driving test. Again, pulling up on the left, pulling up on the right here. There's plenty of opportunities, definitely parallel park now on this road. And we're still on Brooklyn Road. At the end of the road, I'm turning left. So mirrors, signals. I'm going to pick first gear because those trees are blocking my view just a little bit. These cars are parked, these vans. So making sure it's all safe before I proceed. And then at the end of this road, I'm going to be turning right. So I'm going to go into right position. And there's a bit of congestion up ahead. So I'm not sure if it's going to be traffic lights or roundabouts. It could just be general build-up of traffic. So I'm already telling myself what might be around the corner. So before we carry out the next part of the video, I'd just like a quick shout out to our sponsor today, Route Buddy, which supplies driving test routes for all around the country. One of the biggest issues when learning how to drive is filling those gaps and practice on roads where you may have to go on your driving test. So Route Buddy has been designed to give you the best possible chance of learning in between driving lessons and while you're on personal practice. When you use the app, all you need to do is select your driving test centre and select the route which you'd like to practice on. Route Buddy will give you turn-by-turn directions throughout the route. If the route has to be changed, then Route Buddy will do it for you. If there is unexpected roadworks on roads or road closures, just turn off the route and Route Buddy will change the route for you, getting you back on track as quick as it can. I genuinely think that if you are learning to drive and you get into test standard, Route Buddy will help you practice in your area on roads where the examiners are likely to take you. All you need to do is select the driving test centre where you're taking your driving test, and it'll give you multiple routes for you to practice on. So if you're looking for an app which will help you with your driving lesson practice or just general driving practice, then Route Buddy is for you. You're driving in areas you're unfamiliar with. If you tell yourself what you might come across, then when you make those turns, it's not such a surprise if it is there. If you just think, oh, it's traffic, and then there's a roundabout, and you don't plan for a roundabout, then it could cause you an issue because you're not thinking what could be there. So I'm just picking neutral while I'm sat in traffic. It looks a very, very busy road, this one anyway. And there's nothing you can do. So from a driving test point of view, this is the time to relax and just chill, just breathe. Take a few deep breaths before you move away. So I've just rolled off that speed hump. I'm not going to roll forward because of this little turn in here. I'm going to make sure I can clear it first. Now I can clear it. So now I'll put my signals on. And there's a pedestrian crossing right by here. We've also got a yellow box, so we can't block a yellow box. Somebody was going to let me out, but there's no opportunity. There's too many vehicles coming from my right. So somebody now has pressed the pedestrian crossing to my right. So hopefully he's going to stop the traffic coming from the right, and then somebody from the left might let me out. This is a very busy road. And this is going on to Princess Elizabeth Way. No traffic now coming from my left, and the lights have changed. There is something coming now, but they're slowing down. So now we're heading towards Tewkesbury Road. And we've got a roundabout, it's a third exit. So the sign is on the right hand side, third exit is towards Cheltenham. And I can see that the lanes are starting to split. Left looks like left only, so I'm going to go rear and right mirrors. Right mirror again just before I start to drift into position. I can clear the yellow box. And looking at the road markings, I should be able to use the middle lane here. Blue lights coming through. Now, if you go to blue lights and you're on traffic lights, you do not have to move out of the way. You just wait at the stop line. The emergency vehicles will go around you. So looking at the road markings now, I am in the correct lane for turning right. Just going to follow it around. Those crossed over. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn left into this car park. So it was the wrong lane choice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to park the car in a bay and then come back out onto that junction. So if you're on driving tests and you take the wrong lane by mistake, continue with the road you're on. Going to move away again now, just wait for this blue car to come through. And then we're going to move away. So hopefully the sat-nav's going to pick it back up now. So I'm turning right and then left on the roundabout. So right here. And then left at the roundabout. So I'm just going to wait here now. Sat-nav's kicked back in. Didn't want to move right into the roundabouts, purely because I didn't want to be sat inside there. So if that was a driving test then and you took the wrong lane by mistake, which I did, then the examiners would probably just pull you into that car park, turn the car around. If you've already done a reverse, then they're not going to ask you to do another one. They'll just ask you to turn the car around and then come back out. So always proceed with the path you've taken. Never try and change lanes at the last second. That's a big no-no on a driving test. You're better off going the wrong way and staying safe than trying to fix it and then cause a major problem. So you can't fail for going the wrong way on your driving test. So just waiting for this traffic again. Both lanes do go straight ahead, but I've gone for the left-hand lane here now, purely because the right-hand lane was filling up anyway. And if I went into that lane, I might be stuck in there and then I might not be able to get back in. I'm just backing off a second, just in case this is left only. So we're only 5 minutes away from the driving test centre now. Again, just building the speed gradually. It's a 40-mile-an-hour road, but I'm just building it gradually. I got a mile, just over a mile to the next turn. So again, I'm keeping in the left lane, I'm keeping a nice space so I can read the road markings. Vehicle in front is turning left, so I'm just checking right just in case I do need to move out. So although this is a 40-mile-an-hour road, I'm doing 26 mile an hour. I'm saying I'm doing slightly less, but I'm doing 26. Need to keep this junction empty or open. So because of the traffic lights coming up, it's pointless trying to get all the way up to 40 mile an hour because I would have just had to hit the brakes. I'm moving forward here now because if I'm going to stop anything, it's only stopping vehicles turning left. If it's going to prevent vehicles from turning right, either into or out of that junction, then that would fail your driving test. So it looks like we're coming towards the town centre now. Just read the road sign, it says town centre straight ahead. So again, we've got some traffic lights going to be going straight. Checking behind just in case the lights change. Can't stop at that point, I'd already crossed the line. And then looking at the sat nav, I'm just bearing to the left, so I'm going to use the left-hand lane. And I've got a filter light to say that I can go. So now we're on High Street, A4019, just gone onto Pool Way. And I'm just following the road to the right now. So far this route has been very varied for what you're actually doing, what you need to do on the driving test. 3 minutes away from the driving test centre. So I've got a sign now for the University of Gloucestershire, which I passed one of them on the way out. Still going straight ahead, checking all 3 mirrors. So again, we've got traffic lights up ahead. So the traffic lights are probably about 20 odd car lengths ahead of me, but I'm aware of what's going on. Picking neutral again. The lights are just changing now, but it's going to take a while for this queue of traffic to start moving. Range Rover's just starting to move. Both side mirror checks. So the lights might change back some checking behind. Got to keep clear on the floor as well. I can proceed, and then I wait for the traffic lights. Back into neutral. So we've got another car park here as well. So if you haven't done any sort of reversing while you're out on driving test, examiners may use this car park here. So your manoeuvres on the driving test is either pulling up on the right side of the road, reversing back 2 car lengths, parallel park on a vehicle on the left hand side of the road, reversing into a parking bay in a car park and then driving back out, or driving into a parking space and then reversing back out. So there's 4 manoeuvres on the driving test. You're only going to be asked to do one of them. And you're more likely to do it while you're out on the road, because when you get back to the test centre here in Cheltenham, there's no car park. So you've got to do a reverse while you're out on the road. So once you've done one reverse, they're not going to ask you to do any more. And because of where the driving test centre is, I'd highly doubt that they do a parallel park when you get back. Just bearing left here. So I'm just going to tap the indicator as well. So a bit of contraflow here, and then we're going to be turning right up ahead. So we're going straight into the right position, so mirrors have been done. So right at the traffic lights. Not sure where the gentleman's going with his shopping trolley. Unless he's taking the trolley all the way home to take his shopping and then going back to drop the trolley off. Lights changing. Got a filter light, so that gives me priority over oncoming vehicles. And the road just bays to the left here, because this is a one-way system. So if you want to turn right there, you'd have to stay to the right-hand side. So meeting situations again. So right there again before I come out. Then we've got a roundabout. We're going to be taking a third exit to the right. Some mirrors, signals. Got roadworks. So now I'm going to be going straight ahead on the roundabout. And I'm going to be following diversionary signs now to get back to the driving test centre. So the sat nav now, I'm just going to forget the sat nav. And what the sat nav's actually saying at the moment is to just turn the car around, but the road where I need to go is blocked. So I'm going to turn right here because that's where the diversion signs are. So get into the box in the middle. turning left. I'm still checking that way, although there's no entry, just in case there's push bikes coming through or somebody's taking that turning by mistake. So I'm just still looking for those diversion signs. Hopefully, we have a diversion sign coming up. Right, so there's diversion sign on the left hand side, but it's actually hidden behind the truck. And it's saying right here. So these things can happen on your driving tests. Things change, and there's no way of getting around it. And if it takes you over the allotted 40 minutes, then so be it. You've still got to get back to the test centre. So the test will continue until you get back to the test centre and you've turned your engine off. So I just did see a sign behind these parked cars where I'm going to the right. And at the moment I'm on Cleve View Road. And as I turn I can see another diversion sign. So I'm going to be turning right here. And I'm going to wait for this gentleman to cross the road. So now we're on Pittville Circus Road. I'm still looking for a diversion sign to get me back to where I need to go. The sat nav has actually given me a new route to go to.
Traffic alert, A435 roadworks ahead.
So there's a lot of learner drivers here. I think, looking at the sat nav now, I need to go straight ahead here. Sorry, left here. Because it's All Saints Road. And the driving test centre is just on the left hand side. So after a small diversion, we've got back to where we need to get to. So YouTube's about to drop a video just on our left hand side here somewhere, just because it thinks that it might interest you next. If it does, give it a click, you might learn something new. If not, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.